Well, well, well. Who'd have ever thought it? This is the proof, and I've got 10 other copies arriving today. And I've just flicked through this, and I've got to tell you, it's superbly written. It's superbly designed. I designed this shit myself. I was absolutely emphatic how I wanted it. I was absolutely emphatic, and I fought tooth and nail to get every single one of the subchapters listed. And you can see that there are pages and pages of the subchapters. And the Awake and Brave motif, sigil, and a little bit about the author. I'm going to read that bit to you. We are asked to write in the third person when we write something about ourselves, and so this is what it reads like. The author is a 60-year-old British man with a profound passion for world travel and far-flung adventure. He has travelled extensively to almost 50 countries, living and working as an entrepreneur in many. Incarcerated on 2 continents, he considers those experiences the most educationally valuable of his life. Previous to writing this book, he had no affiliations with religion or interest in spirituality, until fate called upon him one night in 2010 whilst living on the outskirts of a ghetto in Western Africa, presenting him with a life-threatening traumatic event. Caught up in a deep inner turmoil resulting from that terrifying night, he was thrown with great force into the most physically arduous and mentally compromising spiritual awakening journeys. This cosmic sojourn lasted some 14 years and included a deeply insightful learning curve encompassing the religious, paranormal, psychological, philosophical and ontological, engaging in supernatural battles with Satan and demons, during which his life was often in great jeopardy. He was chastised by Jehovah and lovingly guided by Jesus. He received spiritual assistance from angels, astral beings and DMT entities, ultimately forcing him to discover that this life experience is a supernatural spiritual school, beyond most people's comprehension. After seeing some of what the metaphysical dimension has to offer, he has struggled to find his footing again in a world he no longer recognizes and believes in like he once did. The author invites the reader along as he revisits his odyssey of self-discovery, which led him to a profound awakening of the true meaning of what many people intuit heaven and hell, Brahman and Samadhi to be. The explicit account of his cosmic extravaganza is crammed between these pages. He maintains that all existence is paranormal, and this knowing becomes super clear when we realize that we are eternal spirit having a human experience. Wow. Sounds like a good book. Let's have a read of the blurb, shall we? This captivating narrative unfolds from a life-threatening event when the author is shot in his bed during a traumatic home invasion. The incident propels him into a 7-year dark night of the soul, an abyss of mental turmoil. While imprisoned in a sinister cognitive paradigm, the journey evolves into a 4-year epic hero's journey, exploring entheogens, spiritual realms and encounters with divine beings such as Jehovah, Jesus, astral entities and DMT, entheogen-induced spirits. Profound meditations reveal the essence of unconditional love via an experience with the supernatural egregore of Jesus. challenging and transforming the author's worldview. It's got this here. I don't know what that says. Cosmos includes duels with the devil. Challenging and transforming the author's worldview. This I don't know. Oh, good God. I'm going to get the proper book later today. Duels with the Devil, Celestial Sexual Encounters and Profound Insights from Psychology, Philosophy, Spiritual and Religious Scripture, and the Paradoxical Quantum Mechanics. The adventure culminates in a serene understanding of existence, leaving readers questioning and re-evaluating their own beliefs. Embark on a mind-bending journey of spiritual awakening, exploring the profound depths of the author's quest to become closer to God. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I've got to read it. It sounds great. And it's printed beautifully, exactly in the layout which I depicted. A superb book cover, which one of my viewers and friends designed for me. And so, well, I'm looking forward to reading it and telling you guys all about it. There is just so much. Let me just read a few of... we've got the preface. Begins with an unfortunate childhood led towards an auspicious adulthood. Your life in their hands, becoming aware of the rot setting in, experiencing the numbness of my life, seeking that elusive inner peace, the rising of the phoenix. Something had seriously gone wrong. The long road to egoic reconstruction and spiritual development. Shockingly, I realized that I too am an automaton. Intro to the central theme of my journey, the dark night of the soul, what it means and how to deal with it. The need to press forward, leaving the past behind. No consolation in the dark night. Patience and perseverance. The situation for the yogi. The dark night of the soul, Article 2. The use of myth to accompany our investigation of the dark night. Is the dark night of the soul in conflict with the medical paradigm? Examples of those who have endured a dark night. Avoid shallow advice and empty distractions. Lots of stuff about the dark night of the soul, people, because that was what propelled me and many people into this spiritual adventure. It's absolutely imperative that we know what that means and what it is. Chapter 1, Life's Meaning. Is there one? Do we need one to justify our existence? Chapter 2, The universe doesn't need a purpose, so why should we? The scourge of boredom and loneliness. Chapter 3, The path to spiritual awakening begins. Discovering the unadulterated heavenly bliss does exist. Chapter 4, My dark night of the soul. Power of letting go. The night two angels visited me, putting the psychological pieces together. How I fell down the rabbit hole. Plato's allegory of the cave. What does the allegory of the cave mean? The night I went to hell for 18 hours. 666. Are we really all one? Is there any reality to the above heading? Let's investigate. Is the dream world a real place? The law of attraction is put to the test. The incredible powers of the mind, dicing with death one last time. Meditation and the mystical bliss of a still mind. The day my meditation cherry popped. How meditation is the portal into ourselves. The benefits of a regular meditation practice. Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is where it really kicks in, people. Whoo! The day Jehovah kicked my ass. God speaks to us in many ways, and entheogens are one of them. Entheogens, enthusiasm, and God are the same thing. How can we know if God is within us? The time Jesus showed me what unconditional love felt like. Then about 6 months after the Jehovah encounter came the Jesus encounter. Chapter 10. What's love got to do with it? There must be something that was missing. So what is love? Why are there these profound differences in love? Are deities, in effect, globally imagined spiritual manifestations or egregores? Varieties of religious experiences, still searching for the ever-elusive love. When love doesn't live up to our expectations, is real love a chemical which is found in a psychedelic entheogen? Many varying alternate states of consciousness. When we begin seeing God in everything, it struck me profoundly that I was living in a very different world from that which I was born into. How a shift in perspective changes our worldview. Experiencing cosmic love through physical exercise. Waking up changed everything. Being very physically fit takes us closer to God. Entities within consciousness. Chapter 11. Sojourns into the astral planes. The old hag syndrome and succubus. Meeting Martella in the astral. Falling in love with astral girls. When a black panther turned into an Egyptian queen. Astral gremlins, Egyptian cats, being fondled by an unspecified astral entity, an astral threesome, a sexual encounter, being a patient of the Bethlehem Bedlam Asylum. Wow, incredible. I actually went to this Bedlam mental asylum in one of my astral projections, people, and I saw it and I felt it. It's absolutely unbelievable how we can do these things. Higher and lower levels, the brightest and most wonderful technicolor imaginable, shadow beings and more girls of my dreams, the end of my astral travels, lucid dreaming, accepting the paranormal. We're only a third of the way through, people. Are you hearing this? How psychedelics, entheogens, changed my worldview. The first significant introduction to the mystical world of entheogens, flat world, life forms in paving stones, experiencing a soul in purgatory, pumping iron on 3 grams of magic mushrooms. How do these entheogens know us so well? The time when an ancient woodland beckoned me into its energy field to seduce me with an experience my libidinal energy. Being sexually exploited by a wood of pine trees. Amanita muscaria, the red and white fairy tale mushroom. Berserking, when the spirit of a Viking entered my body. Lycanthropy, when the spirit of a wolf entered my body. Primal man battling sea monsters with 2 heads, peeping through the veil into another dimension. The wonderful world of DMT. Did I really create the whole cosmos? Was it really all me? The day I saw God in the clouds whilst on DMT. Another bearded bloke in a toga accompanied by bat-winged creatures and cherubs on DMT. Closed-eye DMT experiences. How our unconscious will guides us towards the purity of God. The benefits of belief. Having wholehearted belief in our human existence bonds our ego fast to its earthly excursion. When we evolve as spiritual beings, when spirit intervenes to save our souls, the greatest asset that spirit affords us, defining the numinous is no easy task. How our consciousness will guide us towards the purity of God. How to know God. A shift in perception is the central vein of spiritually awakening, the height of human evolution. Not only how to know God, but discovering that we are God. Why does God make it so difficult for us to encounter his kingdom? The power of giving penance or confession. Does prayer really work? How does God answer our prayers? How synchronicity plays its hand, and why it is so important to be aware of its potential. The power of meaningful coincidences. How the book of Zen Buddhism found its way to me in a miraculous, enchanting, synchronistic manner. Are you still here? The benefits of believing in God. Investigating the supernatural, divine revelation versus various other paranormal theories. What is the difference between elusive and elusive? What the fuck is God anyway? What the fuck is consciousness anyway? Where do we look for truth? Let me illustrate what my issue is with finding truth in language. Where is the human essence? Disturbing as it may be for some, this whole construct is premised on faith. A giant leap of faith. René Descartes' Meditations on First Philosophy. What happened in my mind during the mini-investigation into the concept of faith? Our whole lives are one giant leap of faith. There is only God. Everything is you, and it's all beautiful. What did I conclude about how others saw God from my investigation into faith? The other side of faith. Embracing faith is an experiment. As an experiment. What prevents us from entering God's kingdom? Religions are the world's first self-help books, premised on human psychology. Being born again with DMT. Heaven is a state of mind. The psychology of experiencing God. Religious scriptures are the world's first attempts at cognitive behavioural therapy. The kingdom of God is within you all. Heaven and hell, right thinking and wrong thinking. How faith works its magic. Are you intrigued as yet? What haven't I covered? This most certainly, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best spiritual guide the world has ever seen. And when the world finally wakes up to this, it will be a #1 bestseller. Self-hypnosis, creating our reality via thoughts and intentions. To judge or not to judge, that is the question. The Akashic records are said to be. Here I list several well-discussed points of possible contention and explanation concerning what Jesus said and was misunderstood as saying. How my epiphany on judgment came about. There are two sides to every coin. It all simmers down to perspective at the end of the day. Being judgmental premised on our delusion of separateness. How do we break free from our self-imposed tyranny and create heaven within? Letting go of things that we know do not serve us. Attracting gremlin energy forms via our production of dark energy. My duel with the devil himself. A battle of love over fear. Good over evil, light over darkness. The slaying of the beast. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Is the world, universe, cosmos perfect? The miracle of waking up. Humanity must be profoundly disappointing to the cosmic creator. Is God an amateur at this creation game? The DMT God told me that the world is perfect. Is God a chemical produced in our brain? Putting the pieces together. So, is the world perfect, or is it just a perspective that some of us more fortunate and adventurous people have? Heaven and hell are simply states of mind. What we put our minds to is what we can expect to get out. Left brain, hell, right brain, heaven. The divine peace of God vacates our minds and hearts when we invite in disruptive negative energy forms. Chapter 18. When the carnal essence metaphorically dies and only the spiritual remains. From caterpillar to butterfly, the spiritual metamorphosis, being here now. Is intuition our portal to communicate with God? When our light is switched on, the esoteric versus the esoteric, communicating with the supernatural cosmos via our sixth sense. The crucifixion is symbolic of the death of the soul, or the ego. The four horsemen. Here I invert those four concepts and see what manifests. Chapter 19, Embracing the Emptiness, the process of letting go of ourselves, the fine art of narrowing down our point of focus so we can concentrate on the spiritual facet of existence. Self-love, what is it that we seek? Freedom from our empty minds. What significance are the phantoms of my past now? There are only a few accurate recordings of memories, so what do we have to lose? Energy vampires and attachments, kicking the dog syndrome, vampiric energy forms that drain our life force, energy vampires, true or false, how to kill, erase, eradicate negative thought forms, the psychology of mind, the power of understanding how our minds work, clearing the ground upon which to build our mansion. I'm tired and I'm only reading the subchapters. For those of you who enjoy spirituality, religion, philosophy, metaphysics and the supernatural and all those sort of things, this is the spiritual Bible. As you can see, it is all in here. I've still got a third more to read to you. The very narrow path, Heaven's Gate, the fall of man in the Garden of Eden, the creation of Homo sapiens. The current manipulated version of the Bible is a highly contentious and malevolent compilation of lies and contrivances designed to imprison the human mind and spirit. The Garden of Eden allegory. Was Moses on drugs when he saw the legendary burning bush? The biblical tabernacles were for secret entheogen used by the elite priests. My very own fantastical experience while smoking cannabis. What can we make of all these individual conscious experiences? How others have explained the supernatural connection over the years. The Tao Te Ching was reputedly written by Lao Tzu some 2,500 years ago. The Taoism of the Lao Tzu explained the way, the virtue, the sage, non-action, moderation, ruling, war. Most primates are closer to God than human beings. Chapter 21, the inexpressible mind of God. We are all being dreamed in the mind of God, or should I say, we are all dreaming ourselves into a fictitious reality. State propaganda and cultural indoctrination are our greatest preventatives of spiritually awakening. How Mother Nature, Spirit, God, Cosmos, Consciousness communicates with us. Waking up to our cosmic womb. Spiritual awakening seems to be the cosmic endgame for human beings. The God particle for dummies, Jewish Kabbalah, union with God. The portal into the mind of God, heaven, nirvana, bliss. The book of Thomas, Jesus, sayings not included in the Bible. Google excerpt of the book of Thomas. Jesus in the Gospel of Thomas, know thyself. Holy sparks, enter in the bliss, heaven in the natural world with our open eyes. Scattered sparks. Our subjective interpretation is the only one we can ever know. A special note. A sense of connection and oneness. Holy sparks of Kabbalah. Egoic dissociation, spiritual association. What are the altered states of consciousness? When our ego momentarily disappears, the illusion of being human as opposed to the reality of being God. An ongoing, thorough, scientific and philosophical investigation is what the world needs. The device, the comparison, the experience, the anecdotal reports, the field of perception becomes murky by the day. Is there a ghost writer authoring this book? The invisible glue that holds energy fields together. Eureka, I think I've found a part of the answer. Morphic resonance and egregoric energy fields. Egregores and morphic resonance fields. A theosophical viewpoint. Rosicrucian perspectives. Other definitions. Energy that feeds the egregore. Intuition, in groups. World War II examples of egregore. Adolf Hitler, Hitler's hypnotic effect on the crowd. Hitler was a mesmerizing speaker. Diane Fortune, egregore in everyday experience, opposing the egregore, positive and negative egregores, morphic resonance. All is one, the paradoxical cosmos, Jung's collective unconscious, the basic explanation, archetypes, instincts, exploration, evidence, criticism of Jung's evidence, ethology and biology. Almost there, people, almost there. Oh my God, there's 3 more pages. Architect research, application of psychotherapy, application to politics and society, distinction from related concepts, minimal and maximal interpretations, the Akashic records. Mystic Edgar Casey explains the Akashic records. The trick to reading the records. What is the purpose of the Akashic records? From egregores to morphic resonance, from the collective unconscious to the Akashic records. Heading towards the abyss. Who am I? A shard of God consciousness observing itself. Chapter 24. How the collective unconscious and archetypes play critical subliminal roles in our lives. The collective unconscious and archetypes, Jung's model of the psyche, personal unconscious, collective unconscious, Jungian archetypes, the persona, the anima, the animus, the shadow, the self, psychological types, individuation, theory of the libido, Freud versus Jung, the unconscious mind, human motivation, psychosexual stages, dream analysis, religion and spirituality, bringing varying fields of study together for analysis. Amalgamating out-of-body experiences and archetypes. How can we know for ourselves that the Akashic records exist? Arousing senses activity. List of 53 senses. Radiation sensitives. Feeling senses, chemical senses, mental senses. Putting the pieces of the puzzle together. From Freud and the brain to Sheldrake and the morphogenetic fields. Is the cosmos a simulation? Reasons for the simulation theory to be most viable option to wear the cosmic creationist crown. My reasoning on the likelihood that we are a simulation. It's simply too complex to comprehend. We are in a simulation. That's why we cannot find physical matter. I will first eliminate one of the most obvious runners-up from the competition, Darwin's theory of evolution. Next up for the dethroning, the Christian and Islamic God. The satisfaction of finally separating the wheat from the chaff, ancient astronauts theory. This article is about the idea that aliens visited ancient humans. Anything is possible in a simulation. Who is the real God? The omniscient God of religious scriptures or the creator of the simulation? Criticisms of the Big Bang Theory. My thoughts on the Big Bang. The big one. Key takeaways. Only what makes sense to us is true. Our right to be confused. Is the Mandela effect evidence for the simulation theory? The psychology behind the Mandela effect. Parallel universes or glitches in the matrix. The devil is in the details. As time goes by, conflation, the familiarity, heuristic, conclusion, the battle of wits. Chapter 26, finally, closer to God. The illusion of having our own minds. A glimpse beyond. Brahman, what is Brahman? Etymology and the earthly formulations of Brahman. The Vedas, Upanishads. We are souls being written upon by the pervasive intelligence. Now, for those of you that are still here, I'm going to read the final few words. No, I won't. I can't, can I? I can't give the whole show away, can I? We are souls being written upon by the pervasive cosmic intelligence. Because the truth, indeed, will set us free. Wow. I read that and I was fucking impressed. So, there's a lot of stuff in here. It's very well written. It's a superb depiction articulated by an enlightened being who has travelled all of the journeys pertaining to the spirit, the awakening, the dark night of the soul, the imploding, the resurrecting, the hero's journey, the psychonautical journey, metaphysical journey, philosophical, psychological, paranormal, supernatural. It's all here, people. In Closer to God by Aaron Berry, the world's first spiritual Bible. The link to Amazon is down below. If it doesn't get delivered to your country, write to me in an email and I will send you a copy. Can't be any further than that, to ensure that everybody who wants one gets one. Okay? So here we go with that, guys and girls.